Your feeble skills are no match for the power of the dark side. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of SITH Prevails. Folks, today I have a guide about Sith Eternal, and once you've unlocked him, what do you do after that? What happens? And if you haven't unlocked him, I'm actually going to include two different links here. Number one is going to be the unlock guide that I made that is still working just fine, and it's been over a year, I think, since I made it, but it's still working fine. One of my most viewed videos. Everyone commenting on it says it works just fine. And then the other one I'll mention in a little bit, but it is a guide on who babysits Sith Eternal. So you guys will see that. We're going to figure out what we do with Sith Eternal. He's useful in a lot of different game modes. Obviously, he's a galactic legend. He does a lot of cool stuff. We're going to talk about modding. We're going to talk about how to beat a couple teams in arena, and then I'll show you guys where he works in territory wars battles as well. I want to show you guys how he works as a counter to Jedi Master Kenobi, which is a really important one because Kenobi actually was buffed recently to be able to resist the charms of Sith Eternal and to be able to still beat him even though Jedi Master Kenobi is so advantaged over him is pretty cool. So you guys will get to see that, and let's go talk about modding for him. It's not going to take too long, but that's what he said. Let's go into the game for just a moment, shall we? Whoa, madness, we're in the game. How'd we get here? Why is there only one really small team here? Madness. I guess it would have helped if I'd pointed the right direction, right? The correct one. Just pointed away, looking at the team that isn't there. All right. Good one, Zareth. Nailed it. Okay, so Sith Eternal, guys, you want him to be Relic 8 if you can. Relic 9, I mean, he's actually on my short list for Relic 9 just because it's nice to have a little extra health, and he is almost all health, guys. He has changed from what he used to be. He used to want some speed on him or whatever. Right now, what you want is pure health. You need health. You need to get him as close to 200k as you can. And I don't think I have the best secondary on health, but you guys will see. Like, his speed is a little bit this is actually pretty decently fast considering I don't have any speed mods on him, speed set mods. But otherwise, if you can give him like some potency or something, I mean, that's fine. The only thing some offense. The only thing he really cares about, though, guys, is health. That's the main concern. You don't want you just need lots and lots and lots and lots of health. You want all of his Zetas applied. I know some people like to say that Zetas aren't good or whatever. He can do without, but I mean, some of the key things about him, guys, is just his ability to gain so much health and survive. And I mean, it's kind of iconic the way he is in the movies, right? He's survived forever, and it's only because he's got a really huge health pool. And okay, so some key mechanics for him. Let's talk about those before we go into mods. So of course, the Galactic Legend one, every single time you put a relic level on him, he's gaining plus 10% max health and max protection. And so, and then they do reduced damage, or they receive reduced damage. But keep in mind, so I have plus 80% health. Right now I'm at 200k health. I'm getting another 80% of that. So he's under 400k, I suppose. But then once you get armor involved, which we'll talk about in a little bit, then he turns into a crazy character. And then another thing, guys, once you put linked on characters, so linked is a really nice tool to be able to, it takes 2 turns in a row, so it can reduce your cooldowns by a couple, and it also gets rid of debuffs that are undispellable, which he keeps finding himself marked with certain things that you want to be able to get rid of. So we have this linked. It's nice to be able to use a double turn for that. It's also nice to be able to burn like 15 seconds. It takes forever for this animation to work. And if you put it on 1x, it is truly painful. But we have the awesome thing about this is the linked makes it so that the person linked can't crit, which is going to be vital for some of our plans. You also have a thing where all of the dark side tank characters gain taunt. That doesn't matter. But then the other thing is once the opponent goes, you're going to start taking away permanently their protection and adding it to yourself, which is a really nice ability to be able to do. Though we don't want to rely on protection, it is nice to add a little extra of their protection, and it makes it much easier to do things like sitting General Skywalker down, and then you can just make him sit there and die. He just sits there and kneels because he doesn't have protection that he's regenerating, and then you kill the 501st, and then Skywalker stands up, and then you sit him down. You say, "Sit down, young Skywalker," like that, authoritatively, even though you have a weird backpack on. Now, this is a character that really, really, really wants to have his ultimate. He wants an ult. He really does. And so, give him his ult. Get it as quick as you can. He is so awkward without it, guys. Sometimes I'll beat teams without an ult, but that's just because I want to restore all my health and protection. So here we go. We have, you can see my speeds are decent. But, you know, everything's, I have a lot of decent mods here, but we've got health on the circle. And then, I mean, I did get him some potency or protection as well. Doesn't really matter. Health on the cross, as quick as you can. This one obviously isn't as quick as I can. The health triangle, the health arrow, and this is a pretty quick speed. And then finally, on his square, I do have 5.7% health secondary and 5.2% secondary on the diamond. Those are the only two that have percent health. So all the health, all the time, and then extra speed or damage if you can fit it in. But that's about it. So there we go. There's some key mechanics for him. And, you know, let's just jump into some fights, shall we? All right, let's jump into said fights. First, we are going to show you this Sith Eternal team versus General Skywalker. And this is really important to understand the mechanics. I wanted to show you guys this. This is only 3v3, but this is my favorite example of it because it shows just how you beat General Skywalker, the strategy of it. So you can see that Skywalker has his protection. You want to mark him, and then when he takes his turn, he is going to make it so that you can... He's going to make it so that you can just go and you steal his protection. Once he doesn't have protection anymore, he can't stand back up. So let's just do it, guys. So we link him, and this is going to be, I'm going to show you guys how this is an unsuccessful attempt. So Skywalker's taking turns and everything, but we knock him down before he gets rid of his own protection. He's not jettisoning his protection the way he typically does when he's linked. And okay, so he stands back up, he hits and everything, and now we've still got another turn until we can link. So we're gonna link him, and you'll note, so we're still leeching that protection off of him, and right here is the point. So Skywalker was about to go, and he was going to, maybe he just did, hand his last ounce of protection naturally to Sith Eternal. So he can't have any protection. He can have bonus protection, but that's different. So now he just can't stand up. You see how he's turn meter and everything, but there's just no way he can stand up. He's got full turn meter, but he doesn't have protection, so he just stands there, or sits there, however you want to call it. But one way or another, you don't even need to get your ult against General Skywalker. Now, 3v3 this works. 5v5 it gets dicey AF. You usually want to get someone else to help you, but in this case, I mean, in 3v3 it's just not an issue at all, even if it's a really strong General Skywalker. Really fast and strong and fancy, but it availed him not. And now let's go to the next kind of difficulty level, and that is going to be Rey versus a Rey team. This is a weird kind of comp. Rey with Bad Batch is maybe not the very best, but This is, I'll show you a more advanced version of Sith Eternal in just a minute. First, we're going to do, so we're bringing Rey here, or Watt here. And, okay, so this is the point, folks, that you need to go, if you want to see the supplement, you need to see why you want to put Watt here instead of Armorer. And it's which character babysits Sith Eternal better. It's in the video description, the link, and you can check that out. And I kind of give you guys examples of why you would want Watt versus why you would want Armor. So in this case, we want Watt here instead of Armor because we're going to be getting a lot of debuffs, and every time Sith Eternal gets a turn, we put that shield tech on him, those debuffs are going to just disappear. So you can see we have healing immunity, and that's not something we want. And eventually Watt's just going to die. That's just how it works. And all of these guys are going to be in stealth. It's actually a fairly smooth operation here. They do quite a bit of damage. Like look at all of the green things, the buffs. I've been playing this game for a while, folks. You can see that we linked Rey because she takes the most turns, and I also linked Hunter because he's going to be doing the most damage, throwing things and stuff. And you can see also they have bonus protection, but Hunter does not have more than just that. He doesn't actually have protection anymore. We've leached all of it off, so we can pop our ult whenever we want. But keep in mind, folks, so you can see here we're using that link not because we want to just we want to be able to take out Wrecker, I guess, instead of Hunter, but because we can actually take out some of his bonus some protection for Sith Eternal potentially. But one way or another, we're switching Link here because he does 2 turns of healing himself. That shield tech from Watt is also giving him 30% healing or protection back every time he takes a turn. And so since this is 2 turns, instead of doing his big AoE, he's just biding his time, waiting in the shadows, and he just wants to be able to survive. That's the main thing. For Sith Eternal, his whole thing is just a journey to live. He just wants to live, and eventually he'll wear you down. So do the AoE there, and then one thing I like to do with Sith Eternal is you can link Rey, but even if these guys were all visible, they're all stealth, obviously, but if you want to just... Oh, she's got her ult again. That's fine because we have all the health. And actually, I think this wasn't the super healthy version in this. But the thing I like is you can just take your time. You link Rey and you link one other character, and then the rest of them are going crazy. But the whole time you're building up your own stuff, like because with her, as long as she is linked, she can't. Or she's going to be feeding you stuff as well, and you're taking all of her protection and everything, and eventually you can just do your AoE. I guess that just wiped her out, but you can, even if it doesn't wipe her out, you can over time just slowly beat her. And if you kill Rey first and there's other characters remaining afterward, high likelihood of him finishing with full health and protection, because especially with Watt, you're going to be gaining that protection, the 30% protection at the start of his turn. Armor, he gets it at the end of his turn. So you can see tech is pretty thick right now because he got so many stacks of protection from Rey. But not too bad. You get 60 banners here again because you only had a 2-man team and you lost Watt. That's 3 banners, but then he has finished with full health and protection. So maybe not the best example of Rey versus or against a Rey team, but I think it fits pretty well, just because I wanted to show you at the end how he was able to get those full banners, because GAC obviously is pretty important. Now we're going to go. I did a lot of testing here, and this is a really important factor, guys. There's a ton of moving parts to this. I think I might just make a video of this on its own, in fact, at some point. But the idea here is to create an apparatus where Sith Eternal, and this is against Jedi Master Kenobi, remember, where Sith Eternal gets the stacks of Beskar from Armor. He needs all 3 of them, and you get the left-hand side, the med pack, I think it's called, from Watt, and then everyone else dies, and you get terrible banners, but you still beat Jedi Master Kenobi with Cat consistently. You just need to have a ton of health, like I said. And so you need armor to be faster than Thrawn, and there's a lot of stuff. Let's actually just move forward here. A lot of times you're going to need a pretty fast armor. Mine is, I think, 337, something like that. And then Thrawn is a little bit behind. But the idea is, so there's two ways to get Beskar ingots. You need that third stack. You need the Zeta on armor. And keep in mind, this is all, really high level stuff. You're going to need good mods that you just do. So you have the Brute and the Brood Alpha hanging out there just to provide a pre-taunt so that Ahsoka has someone to kill, so Cat has someone to kill. And then what you're going to do, though, you want to put the shield tech on armor just to keep her alive a little bit longer. And after that, it's okay. That works. After that, you want to put the little med pack thing on the one on the left hand side, that tech on Sith Eternal, so that he's still healing himself. And the reason why you're putting shield tech on armor is just so she survives longer. Now, going back to what I was saying, you need 3 stacks of Beskar from armor, and obviously you only have 2. Now, 2 is fun because you get 15% extra health percentage on Sith Eternal, which is an enormous amount, actually. It really helps. But the really key thing is, with that 3rd stack of Beskar, it makes him immune to crits. So he can't be crit, and that is a really, really important thing. Now, the way this apparatus works is you can get those stacks of Beskar from 2 things. First off, armor can take a turn and do her mass assist thing, and as long as she can hit a second time, so if she calls everyone to mass assist, which she doesn't have anyone because no one else is Mandalorian, but she calls her mass assist, if she kills someone on that first hit and everyone else's assist, then she doesn't get a second swipe, and that's when she would gain her Beskar ingot. So you got to be careful in some comps. This one, it's pretty easy because she's always going to get a second swing, unless she just one-shots someone, in which case you chose a poor target. Now, the other way is anytime one of her allies goes beneath, 60% health, something like that, she gains a 3rd stack. So what we're doing here is, we're putting the initial text down. We want to protect her. And then you'll notice that they attacked Thrawn. Now, I had removed some mods from Thrawn just to get the right speed right, because I'm practicing in arena, and it doesn't really matter having the right mods, but he's weakened because he doesn't have enough mods, and immediately you can see armor has 3 stacks of Beskar. So what I'm going to do is actually pretend with armor that I don't have that 2nd stack, or that 3rd stack, because it's better to practice what is actually going to happen. So she's going to call the mass assist, but then because she's faster than Thrawn just hands her the turn again. You give the next stack of Beskar ingots, the 3 stacks to Sith Eternal, and then Watt can go put that med pack on Sith Eternal, and then after that, it gets a little dicey, of course, but you'll note again, there's also another element here, guys. So Sith Eternal immediately linked General Kenobi because he's taunting, and then he also linked General Skywalker. Skywalker, it's important to note, and I wish I had pointed it out earlier, Skywalker needs to have this right now. Even though Cat is a bigger threat in terms of damage potential and turn meter manipulation on a team that can't manipulate turn meter, just because she can swap turn meter, and that's not bonus turn meter or whatever. So anyways, we eventually want to take her out, but right now we need to have this on Skywalker so he can't crit, because when he crits, he increases cooldowns and makes it so that you can't hand turns to people from Thrawn, that you can't put Beskar ingots on people, etc. You need to have that link on General Skywalker for now. Now it's gonna be tough to watch a little bit just because they're gonna kill all of our characters, and it feels very hopeless. We're also deconstructing a lot of teams here, using Watt and Armorer here because we need all of them. But this is a great use for the team in Territory Wars, for example. It's still gonna cost you 4 banners, but you eventually so we're popping the ult. That's great. But we're just waiting to be able to link. So we're going to link Kenobi because he is taunting, and then we can target one more. We need to take out Cat as soon as we can because we don't like Armor Shred, and she gives it way, 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 way faster than General Skywalker. Not to mention, she is able to give so much. She gives everyone extra damage because of who she is. And you'll note that, Kenobi keeps handing Sith Eternal the healing immunity, and it's not pleasant, obviously. But because we have such a huge health pool, eventually we can shake off that healing immunity. Well, sometimes we can. I practiced this. I probably did it like 15 times, and then I did it in Territory Wars as well. You can see how this is against my very best arena opponent, by the way. This is against the guy who has crazy mods on every character because he's optimized to Squad Arena. But you can see that because we took all of General Skywalker's protection away, he was pretty easy to take out. You trigger Savior from Kenobi, and then you take him out again. Then you can relink on Ahsoka. It gets pretty close and dicey here because we got healing immunity. And ironically, our protection is still there. So we'd have gotten full banners on protection. But, so there was rank 1. Let's fast forward just a little till we get to this again. Okay, so same exact opponent, same team, and so shield tech on Armorer, and we put the link immediately on Kenobi and on General Skywalker because Skywalker will do his AoE if he can. And once again, we have 3 stacks of Beskar on Armor. I decided to just throw him on Sith Eternal right now anyways, because we know it works. As long as Armor is faster, the Thrawn can just go and hand it to Armor. Now, one thing to keep in mind here too, folks, is Thrawn is actually gaining 20 speed from Sith Eternal's leadership. So you got to keep that into consideration as well. But, cool, we got a fracture on Kenobi, and then we died, because everyone, as long as we get those 2 buffs, we want 3 stacks of Beskar Ingot on Sith Eternal, and then we also want the med pack on Sith Eternal, and call it good. Then everyone else can die, and we're just looking for an opportunity to re-link. We're going to go into our ultimate stance, and just stay there, of course, because we've earned it. We're taking this pummeling, and so, yeah. We go into ultimate. It restarts our cooldowns, and we want to, instead of just pulling that trigger and taking out 2 really good characters, we want to re-link and take out Kenobi and Cat first, if you can. Now, if you're facing a comp without Kenobi or without General Skywalker, you could probably just link Cat right away, but in this case, you just need to re-link. Now, one thing you can remember is the use of your link can also get you out of that healing immunity BS because you take a couple turns and it just disappears. Now, Kenobi does just put healing immune on characters quite a bit, but as long as you have enough health and stuff, even this pummeling from Kenobi and it's not Cat, it's Snips, is just going to be fine. Now, when I was practicing this, and I spent a long time, I would usually have about 7 or 8 armor shreds from Cat before I had actually won them, or before I'd actually lost the match, and I always lost against this opponent. So until I switched the way I was doing things and remarked against Cat right before we did the ult. So there you go. There's that one. Let's do one final thing, guys. We're going to do the Dark Side Territory battle. We're not going to show you the entire thing, but I want to show you how I went about it. Now we're taking a full Traya team with him and Malak. So we can use Sith Eternal to summon the droid because the droid who is summoned is going to use the base stats of the character who summoned him. So like if B1 summons him, actually, B1 still has health and protection stat. It's just his kit doesn't allow for that. But anyways, Malak is really nice just because once you get someone down to that small, down to just health, then you're just going to be good to go. Trey is nice because he can reduce cooldowns. Nihilus can, gain a ton of health over time, etc. And so we're just linking these guys, and it can be a tricky thing. We just want them to take a lot of turns, but it's also I mean, that's how you earn your ult, right? So over the course of a really long time, Sith Eternal gains his ult. And you want to just, you link two guys who do a lot of damage, so they can't crit you, and then you just try to give them turns so that they give you ultimate, because every time a linked character takes a turn, they give you some ultimate stats. So anyways, we can, let's move forward here, guys. So we're slowly, you can see we have the ultimate here. The ultimate, I think this is in wave 2. There's that bug that we can't see which wave we're on at the top. But, you know, Malik is trying to use his force drain every once in a while. Just to be able, he wants to get to 3 stacks so that he can be a responsible adult and be treated as an equal, etc. And you can see we have the ultimate from Sith Eternal, but the one really important thing to realize as well, folks, is in this stance, in backpack stance, he is going to be able to heal your team's protection with one of his specials, and that goes away once you pop his ult. So something important to note there. And so you actually just spend the entire wave 2, the entire wave 3, just waiting. And, you know, Nihilus, I want to do Annihilate sometimes, but I want to have that available at the start of a wave to be able to take down a really tricky character with his Annihilate. So we get that link on some people just for funsies, and everyone's got Retribution now. Everyone's good to go. And, yeah, you just slowly take them out. And, okay. So here's the final team, guys. It's a 5s lead, and that means you can't revive, but Sith Eternal doesn't let you revive your own men anyways. So like Scion has his unique or his special, whatever it is, that buff though, that's over his hand, and that means he revives usually in this case, but like if he gets taken out, he revives himself, but under Sith Eternal, Scion just dies. So, use the Nihilus Annihilate to take out Barris here so that they can't do anything. You don't want to annihilate the person who has Link on them. And remember, guys, I don't think I mentioned it before, the people who have Link, once you use your ultimate with Sith Eternal, once you do your Link on them, then they're auto-killed. You just one-shot them with your, it's like a double Annihilate. So you can see those two guys were removed, and the medic can't revive them. Even if he didn't have it on cooldown right now, he can't revive them. Just like with Nihilus's thing. Oh, and look at that, they did just kill Scion at one point, so that was cool. You get that link on everyone, and I mean, this is all she wrote, folks. This is one of the best. This is tier 4 of the territory battle too. This is a tough node, a tough something, I don't know. This is the tough day, I guess, and it's not really tough for Sith Eternal. So I think that's where I'm gonna leave you, folks. This has been a good match, a good something. I hope you learned something from Sith Eternal. He is a fun character. Hopefully you guys are able to use him. Please leave a like or a comment below if you want to support the channel for free. All you got to do is leave a comment or a like or both, and we're trying to mount the algorithm, so would really appreciate that, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath prevails. Let's just hang out for just a minute, folks, so that we can get the win. It's just more exciting that way, right? So we got to do it. We got to do it. So I did relink these guys just so we could get our ultimate just a little bit faster, and I was hoping that Treya would be able to decrease our ultimate ability. Actually, I don't know if you can do that. I feel like someone was telling me you can't, but whatever. These guys have an incredible amount of health. We're not actually getting much progress done on them, though I guess Malik could one-shot them because they don't have protection anymore. But there it is. Got the full waves. And with that, I sign off. Goodbye, folks.